Hey, this is Mackie again. I wanted to talk about how the organization makes sure that if you decide you want to leave the organization, it's almost a 95% chance that you're not going to leave on a good good slate, you know. Um, Case in point, when it comes to the marriage arrangement, okay? What's worse? Now, these two scenarios are bad, but what's worse? Cheating on your spouse or damn near beating the shit out of your spouse to the point of almost killing them? And then I have another question. Which one has grounds for divorce? Which one can you get disfellowship for? Okay? It's a lot harder to get a divorce. I should have said grounds for divorce, yeah. You can't get grounds for divorce for getting hit. Or if your husband strikes you, or a wife for that matter. Doesn't matter. If a spouse strikes another spouse. We're gonna do if the husband strikes his wife, for example. There have been articles and publications within the Watchtower, publications where they have said, well, maybe she needs to fix her attitude. The victim needs to change their attitude because they are making their spouse angry or something like that, and they need to be more submissive and change their attitude for their spouse to not hit them anymore. That's abuse, condoning, pretty much. And Watchtower not gonna flat out and say, oh, we don't condone abuse, but they'll turn around and say, well, you need to be more submissive and pray more, and just don't do anything to piss your husband off. But the thing is, like, what if he's just that type of person where he has anger issues and he needs some anger management, and there really isn't anything that you can do? You could be the perfect wife, and he'll still find something wrong, and he'll still try to do something to you or hurt you. But if you leave your husband over domestic violence, then you're wrong. They expect you to just stick it out. They expect you to stick it out because they go by that whole, a man will leave his mother and father and stick to his wife, crap. I'm sorry, but I'm having problems with that. That's not sitting well with me, not sitting well with my stomach, because a lot of these policies within the Watchtower organization are nowhere in the Bible. Not a lot of them are not. But you can't freely just divorce this guy, even though he's no good for you mentally and physically. He's no good for you. And you don't really know this because this is how the marriage and dating and courtship goes. You can't be alone with the person that you're dating, so you really don't know how they are by themselves with just you and them. You only know the persona. You only know the facade. You only know what you see, how you see them in front of other people. So they're, of course, a lot of times they're going to put on a show and be the nicest person in the world until y'all had y'all honeymoon and you find out, oh my God, I married a psycho. So Jehovah's Witnesses that date really don't get a chance to see who the person really is alone, you know, because they're not allowed to date alone. They have to have a chaperone at all times. Now, there are Jehovah's Witnesses that dated, that, you know, they didn't have chaperones. I'm not going to tell you how many unchaperoned dates me and my husband went on. Way more than chaperone dates. Way more. But anyway, that's one of my quote-unquote confessions. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. But you really don't know what you're getting, who you're getting when you get married. It's like once you get married, that's when you start getting to know the person. Which is kind of backwards. Like, you should know the person in and out, up and down, left and right before you marry the person. You cannot do that. You cannot do that if you are a Jehovah's Witness and the way that they date. The arrangement that's set, the way they date. You know, if you're trying to go by the book. You know. And the majority of young Jehovah's Witnesses marry for sex. Because they can't do it outside of sex. And then you don't even know what you're getting then. You might not even be sexually compatible. You ain't gonna find that out until after you get married, though. You know, luckily I didn't have that problem. Anyway, yeah, that's TMI, but hey, we grown, okay? But yeah, you don't know what you're getting. It's like pulling, you know, pulling a card out of a hat, and you don't know what the hell you're getting into. It's almost like that show, Who the Bleep Did I Marry? You know, you never know who you don't know who you're getting. You're just getting who you think you're getting until you actually live with the person. You don't know their habits. You don't know if they, you know, are tidy or super organized or super sloppy. You don't know, you know. You don't know until after. And also, you know, you don't know that they may have a dark side. And once you figure out that they have a dark side, it's too late. You're already married to them. You've already invested your money and finances and everything. And it's going to be hard for you to get out of the relationship, because the difference between a regular married couple and a Jehovah's Witness married couple is a regular married couple, if she know that this dude is a fucking psycho, she's gonna do everything she can. Well, some women are more submissive than others, but the ones that ain't gonna be able to take all of that, they end up trying to figure out a way to file for divorce, because there's no way that anybody can live happy like that. You know, at the end of the day, it's about happiness. But it's not like that in the organization. They don't care if you're happy or not. You better stay married. No, and the only grounds for divorce is fornication. See, they make sure that your name is slandered. They don't want you to get a divorce for anything else except for fornication. So that's by design, because they want to make sure you look bad for getting a divorce. And if you still if you get a divorce without quote unquote scriptural grounds, you're still gonna get disfellowship. That's happened to a couple of people that I knew. They got disfellowship not because they had sex with their potential marriage mate, but because they divorced they divorced their previous spouse without grounds prior to getting married to someone else. And I feel like that's way too much control that the Watchtower is giving to these grown adults that should be able to make a decision as to who they want to be with for the rest of their life, or lack thereof, you know, or who they want to divorce. If you're not happy, change it. But see, Watchtower don't care. They don't care about your happiness. And I did a video. My last video was about the family life with children. Well, now I'm talking about the husband and wife. They don't care that your husband is beating the shit out of you. Be submissive. Be more submissive. Pray more. Do more of what he asks. Give him more sex, even if you don't want to. That's rape. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're married or not. If you're not consenting to him wanting to, to want to have sex with your husband and he's constantly just snatching it from you anyway, hello, that's rape. It don't matter if you got a ring on the finger. It don't matter what piece of paper you got that's saying you're married. If you are not consenting to sex and he's steady taking it from you, yeah, that's rape. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. But you really can't get disfellowship for that either, because unless, Watchtower will tell you have to scream for it to be rape. Are you serious? Are you serious? You have to scream in order for it to be rape? So what if you're the type of person that when you get scared straight, you go silent? And that's the type of person I am. When I get scared, I don't scream, I don't make a sound. I totally turn mute, because I'm just frozen with fear, That's the type of fearful person I am. Other people scream, holler, and shout when they get scared. And not everybody is the same. It's just sickening. It's sickening. And the first thing that comes to people's minds when people hear, the disfellowshipping announcement, such and such is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses, especially if they're a married spouse, they're like, oh, she must have committed fornication. That's the first thing that go through people's minds when they sitting in that hall listening to that disfellowshipping announcement. Now everybody got their preconceived notions of you. Everybody thinks that you're some cheater and sinful, evil, possessed person, because they assume that you committed fornication. And or if the Jehovah's Witness married couple got a divorce, it had to have been because of fornication. That's why a lot of spouses cheat. They may not necessarily want to, but they do it anyway, just so they fit, because they feel like, well, I can't get a divorce unless I cheat. So which one of us is gonna cheat first? Pretty much. That's happened to a lot of witness couples. They feel like they have to do that. They don't have to do any of this stuff, but it's the mind control. It's the mind control. If you are a person that or a JW that's faded or awakened or anything like that, and you and your spouse have faded together, and you feel like maybe it's not working out between the both of you, I don't encourage divorce, but if you two are not happy and you feel like you need to go your separate ways, you do not have to tell Watchtower anything. Just go ahead and live your life and do what you have to do to make yourselves happy. Because if you are a disgruntled married couple, and if you have children, it affects the children. Trust me, I know this. And I don't really like talking about my childhood, but it was kind of difficult. It was kind of difficult because it was quote unquote spiritually divided. And that used to always cause arguments for my parents, and they weren't physically abusive to each other, but they were verbally abusive to each other. And that affected me. That affected the kids, and I told myself, I will never do that in front of my children, because it does affect children's minds. It affects it in a very negative way. Sometimes there were days where I just wish they would get a divorce so that I could just get some peace and quiet when I come home from school, because I feel like every time I come home from school, I'm walking on eggshells every single day. It'd be to the point where I didn't even want to come home. I worked 2 jobs and went to school full time just to avoid being home. That's what I did as soon as I turned 18. I'm like, man, I can't. And that's and that's part of the reason why I got married so early too, was because I just couldn't take it at home. And well, and luckily my husband's not crazy. He's not abusive. You know, he's not crazy. He's not abusive. So luckily I married a good guy. But a lot of witnesses aren't as lucky to marry somebody that's decent. They go from one abusive household and end up right in another abusive household. It's just really sad. It's just too much abuse out there, especially within the organization where they claim to be a loving, happy people. And a lot of people, when they answer the door and Jehovah's Witnesses are at their front door, they have no idea the policies that they have, and they have no idea. I'm almost home, but yeah, they're gonna make sure that you look extremely bad for getting a divorce. But like I said, if you are a awakened JW, or you're in the process of wakening up, you don't have to tell the elders, you don't have to tell Watchtower a damn thing about what you do with your life. Just do what you do, okay? You don't have to confess to them about anything, because it's none of their business anyway. None of it. It's none of their business for none of the policies. If you decide you want to take blood, it's none of their business. If you decide you want to get a divorce, it's none of their business. If you decide you want to celebrate your child's birthday, it's none of their business. It's none of their business. They have way too much business within your family life. Personal family life. If it's your business to freaking masturbate, you don't have to confess to the elders and watch out about that either. It's your body. It's a shame they had to do that Pillowgate video. I mean, man, they got so much control over you where you can't even do that. Too much control. But anyway, that's all I wanted to rant about. This is Mackie J. Jones. Question everything, and do not be afraid to ask questions. All right. Peace.